if you can simply learn patience, or learn to not be mad at the world like it's against you, because it's not. If you can just learn these things, you will excel, and you will start to see life the way it's supposed to be seen. You will start to see everything way more clear, because the reality is, things you're impatient about are out of your control, right? Here's a very popular example, which you see it every day, and it amazes me how it almost looks like people don't even try to make an effort. And it's such an easy thing that just makes you mad. It literally ruins your mood, and it's not even in your control. Look at people when they're driving, right? There's so many people when they're driving, they immediately just think that anything else that happens outside of their car, their vehicle, is someone trying to like piss them off. Like, this guy pulls out in front of me, I'm gonna slam on my horn and get angry and just yell at him because he definitely meant to do that. Really? Of course he didn't mean to do that. That person obviously didn't mean to jump out in front of you. He probably didn't see you coming, because if he did mean to do that, then that wouldn't make any sense, because that could lead to an accident. Why would someone purposely want to get in an accident, right? So you got to think about these things. Why would someone do that on purpose, right? Obviously, I can't control what they do. Their actions are out of my control. Why should I let that bother me? Why should I let that bother me? Why should I let that make me angry? Why should I let that ruin my patience? And I want you all to practice this when you're driving. Next time you're driving, I want you to practice your patience, because it's so important. It's such an easy thing to do, and it's so important that it literally, because we do it every day, right? We do it every day. Everyone drives. Everyone, has things to do. We all go places. We come back home, whatever. So just doing these little things and testing your patience, practicing it, it can really add up. It goes a long way, because so many people don't know how to do it. Everyone just resorts to anger, as if everyone's against them or the world's against them. The reality is, these things that happen outside of your vehicle are out of your control. So there's literally nothing you can do about it. And that's the main thing, is just that there's literally nothing you can do about it. I literally have no control over what these people do, right? Unless they physically are, unless they're intentionally, doing something to my life where it's affecting me, then why should I care, right? Why should I care? But really, the actions that they take are out of my control. I can't control what they do, right? All I can control is up here. All I can control is my mood, my thoughts, and how I perceive the world, right? So I'm not gonna let these things that are outside of my control just dictate how I see the world, right? That's unrealistic, that's unrational. And if you think clearly, if you're able to see things clearly, you don't see things like that anymore. You don't immediately resort to anger. You don't immediately resort to just, greed or being impatient. You don't immediately resort to these things, because we're not supposed to do that, right? There's no reason for me to do that. Even if I were to get angry, what's that gonna do? All that's gonna do is, make things, let's say you're driving, it's gonna make it more likely to have an accident, because I'm gonna be in a bad mood, I'm gonna be angry, my judgment isn't gonna be clear, I'm gonna be mad at that person, right? And so you just can't let these things cloud your judgment, because it's unreasonable. It's unrealistic, right? In fact, the only thing to do in this situation is to stay positive. And this is where you really test your patience, because it's hard, sometimes it's hard to stay positive whenever someone really just pisses you off. When something really pisses you off, it's hard to stay positive. I get that, 100%. It's hard. But at the end of the day, what's gonna happen from being negative? What's gonna happen from being positive? Only good can happen from being positive. Nothing good can come from being negative. Nothing good. Even if you want to get back at someone, what is that? That's jealousy, that's greed. What's good about that? Nothing's good about that. If anything, it's gonna boost my ego, and I'm gonna get hit in the face later, and I'm gonna make up for it, every time you put something out in the universe, it's gonna come back to you, right? And that's why all these people are just hated on, because that's what they give off. That's what they give out into the world, right? They give out hate. So of course they're gonna get hated on back. But if you give out that positive attitude, it's gonna get reinforced back into your life, right? So even if that person does piss me off, hey, I'm sure they didn't mean to do that. I'm sure it was an accident. I'm not gonna let that, ruin my day. I'm not gonna let that ruin my day, because ultimately it's out of my control. And that's the best attitude you gotta have about it, because when you can't control your mind, when you can't control your thoughts or how you perceive the world, then you really can't control anything. Because literally this is all we have. This is all we have to control. Anything else is outside of our control. And as much as there's crap that you see going on right now in the world, at the end of the day, it's out of our control, you know? All we can do is, you know, focus on our own lives, focus on our own thoughts, our own judgment, and just live our own lives, you know? If we're too worried about what other people do, we're too worried about other people's lives, too worried about being mad about something or being angry, it's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing because you start to see the world in a way that's just not healthy. It's not healthy. And, but when you stay positive and remind yourself that you're all you got, you're all you got, your mind is all you got, and that's it. When you can remind yourself that, then literally everything changes. Everything changes because you start to realize that from here on out, everything's in my control now. I can control literally anything I want. Not in a sense of like making people do things for you, but literally how I see reality, it's all in my control. Like even when these things start happening to you, if something does happen to you and it's really bad, you know, it's very easy to get pissed off at a situation. If something does happen, regardless of what actually happens, the way I react to it is how it's going to affect me. The way I react to it is how much of an impact that situation is going to have. And so when you think of it like that, you know, I'm not saying like literally don't care about anything, be stoic and not care about anything. If you need to be stoic, of course, you need to be stoic and know that your thoughts are the only thing that's in your control. And you can't let these outside things, you know, get to your head because it's going to help you perceive a false reality. That's just the way it works. So, of course, I don't mean, you know, just block out all emotions and don't show any sympathy for the world or just don't care about anything. That's not what I'm saying. Of course, you got to stay positive and just have that positive reinforcement because without it, there's nothing good that comes from negative. There's nothing good that comes from being negative. Never. And, you know, that's what Jesus Christ teaches us, is that we need love. You know, love is the answer to all. And it really is. And it's hard to love nowadays. I understand that. I feel like it can be hard to love someone for doing you wrong. At the end of the day, you know, if I don't want that person in my life, I don't have to have them in my life. But me being negative at them, me being mad at them, that's just going to reinforce their ego, right? It's going to boost their ego, if anything. So why even bother getting mad at that person whenever I know that they're a degenerate? I know that they're not below me, but I know that they are not as mentally, you know, intelligent as I am because I'm able to control these emotions and block that noise out. And so if I can block that noise out, I'm going to block it out. I'm not going to let that come through at me because it's going to mess me up. It's going to ruin my peace. It's going to ruin my calmness in my mind, right? And it is. I've been spitting too much knowledge that my coffee's getting cold. But that's what we're here for, right? We're here for inspiration. We're here for knowledge of the universe and cats. Oh, you're just chilling. But it's just a crazy thing. It's just a crazy thing, though. It's just a crazy thing what you can literally create out of this world by simply just changing your mindset. I mean, that's all it is. Your mindset is everything. Everything, ladies and gentlemen. And once you realize that you can do whatever you want. You can really be whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. I feel like when I was a kid, I don't know if this is just me, I feel like when I was a kid, people like made it seem like our dreams were more like visible, you know? And now it's like, you know, we don't even have dreams anymore. It's hard, it's like we can't even have dreams, you know? I don't know. Like, you know, when you were a kid, you were always like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a princess. I want to be you know, whatever you want, right? I feel like those dreams were way more vivid and hopeful than they are nowadays. And so that's just why I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like I've noticed that. And that's why it's so important to just, you know, learn to construct your mind, learn to build your mindset. Because you can start to get those dreams back. You can start to put those dreams back into your mind. And once you put those dreams in your mind, you know, that's like the seed. That's like the seed that leads to anything. That's the seed that leads to, you know, all success in life, right? It starts with the vision. It starts with the dreams. And when you have these visions, have the dreams, then you can start to learn about what you need to do to get there, right? What you might need to change in your life to get there, to be the person that is capable of being there, right? And there's so much you can learn just going down that road. But this is why it's so important to just, you know, learn to construct a great mindset. And when you look at all the people who are successful in the world, the biggest thing that I've seen after looking at, you know, patterns of how they talk or how they present themselves or how they got to where they are, it all starts in the mind. It's all about the mindset. And, you know, I've realized that all of them realize this at a younger age, and that's why they're able to excel, right? Not all the time actually, but you do realize that it really does start with the mind, because all these people, they are aware of themselves. They're aware of the mind that they need in order to, you know, maintain that status or maintain that positive attitude. And so that's why you just can't let these things outside of your zone just impact your mood, impact your life, impact your thoughts. Because it's so easy to let your thoughts get influenced nowadays. I mean, if you can think for yourself now, if you can build a mindset where you can literally just think for yourself, you're gonna win. Like, you're going to do good, because so many people now just don't know how to do that. I mean, I feel like literally 80% of my generation lives in a box. I really do feel like that. And maybe I'm biased, you know, maybe I just like see it in that way, because I was once like that, you know, but like when I really open my eyes to it, I really think that it's a lot easier than you might think to excel, you know. And so yeah, it all starts in the mind. And that's pretty much all I got for this video. Just knowing that these things that are out of your control, you know, you can't let them get to you, because if they do, then you have nothing. You really have nothing. And once you learn that it's all up here, it's all in your control, right? Then you can change your life completely. And that's, you know, that leads to having a sober mind. It leads to having a clear mind, right? It's the plant, it's the seed for everything in life, ladies and gentlemen. So appreciate y'all watching this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.